her first memoir. Calgarian author and human rights advocate Vanisha Breault writes about overcoming insurmountable odds. And just a note here, some of the content we are about to speak about might be triggering for some. We're connecting now with the incredible Vanisha, who's also the founder and CEO of the Terminator Foundation. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Joelle. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us, Vanisha. We love chatting with you about your life and everything that you're doing. So let's talk first about the premise for the book. It was released yesterday, and it all stems from a pretty devastating incident that happened in your family's life.
Yeah, about 15 years ago, my marriage collapsed due to sexual abuse. My husband at the time had been molesting my oldest daughter. I have four kids. They're all adults now. But he had been molesting my oldest daughter, and so the book is really just about the fallout from that tragedy, and then, the criminal proceedings and everything that happened to us in the aftermath of that.
Right. Very raw, very truthful. We're seeing some visuals now. You've gone out in the community, you've started the Terminator Foundation, and you've really turned everything around. But I want to talk to you about the writing process. Like I mentioned, you're pretty open, very public about your struggles and overcoming those struggles. But what was it like putting the words to paper?
Honestly, writing this book was like I didn't know really what it was going to be like, because I've never done it before, but it was harder than I ever could have imagined, and incredibly emotional, especially, and I talked about this last night even at the launch, but just really, coming face to face with how honest am I going to be about this? Like, how, even looking at myself, looking at my own, just facing a lot of my own demons in some ways, I guess you could say, because I even talk about my own addiction in the book, and just what it was like for us to go through as a family. And so the writing process, it took me over 4 years to write the book.
Wow.
And some of that literally was just because it was just so hard to write it.
And I can't imagine having to put that to paper and see it and then put it out into the world for the rest of us to take part in. Vanisha, what do you want readers to take away from this?
Yeah, just there's hope. There's hope. You know, there, no matter what we're going through, there's hope. And honestly, one of the biggest things too, and especially with all of these kind of issues, with domestic violence and child abuse, family violence, addiction, mental health, is the silence, is to really just break the silence. The silence is what ends up, I find, and in my experience and in working with other people, that it's the silence that kills us. It's the silence that really is what destroys our lives. And I know it nearly destroyed me, staying silent. And that's why I believe I'm such a, because it's so personal. I'm such an advocate for that now, because I know what it feels like to be silent, and I know what it feels like to come out with your story, to come out with your truth, and just the healing that can happen after that. So.
All right. Well, Vanisha, we thank you for sharing your story. We thank you for being courageous and letting us in on that and letting people know that they're not alone in this. That is Vanisha Breault, author of Ordinary Courage, one woman's story of overcoming insurmountable odds. Beautiful photos from the book launch last night. This book now available on Amazon. Vanisha, have a great day.
Thank you, Joelle. You too. Thanks for having me.